welcome back to my channel. It's Cami. So for today's video, we are going to be talking about a new palette that actually just released today. This is the One Size Patrick Starrr Visionary Eyeshadow Palette. And if you would like to see my thoughts, my review, and my eye look that I come up with, just keep watching. Alright, let's go ahead and just get started. So I want to give a little disclaimer. My hair is in a little braid. I am not bald. I typically don't like having my hair all the way pulled back like this unless it's like in a high bun so that you can see that I have some hair, but I just don't want to deal with my hair today. So we are going to go ahead and go in with the palette. I'm going to first take this Manila Sand shade, this white shade, and set my whole eyelid. And I'm going to take a Morphe M224 to do that. Ready for an ASMR. This is probably like my favorite part of a new palette, is pulling the plastic off the mirror. Ah, so good, so good. So Patrick Starrr is Filipino and I am also Filipino. I'm half Filipino. I really wanted to support him because, you know, go Filipinos. So I'm really happy I was able to go to Sephora and pick this up. There wasn't a long line at Sephora when I first came there because, you know, I'm used to Morphe launches and stuff like that having really long lines. So I went there 10 minutes before and there was a few people, but it wasn't crazy, which is very much appreciated. So I want to show you guys the variation in the palette. So I think I'm going to do two different eye looks. So I'll do one eye look on this eye and one eye look on this eye. I think I'm going to start off on this eye and we're going to do more of a neutral soft glam eyeshadow and just use like, I think these 3 rows right here. So I'm first going to take the shade Mango right here and I'm going to use a Morphe M441. This brush is stained, so I'm going to go ahead and just take off all the color in my color switch. So I'm going to take that mango and just diffuse it into the crease. One of my favorite fruits is mango. I love mango, especially the yellow mango. That is one of my favorite snacks and I always purchase it in the store whenever they have a sale because I love mangoes. I definitely grew up with that. I really love that there is a shade called Mango in here. It is very light, you can't really see it on my face at all. It is just a crease shade. Now I'm going to take my stained M433, clean off the brush, and I'm going to take the color Booked right here, this bottom one, and I'm just going to run that in the crease a little bit further down. Not only is this palette really pretty, I was attracted to it because Patrick Starrr is Filipino and I'm Filipino, so we probably have the same skin tone, and you know, I mean, there's probably a little bit of variation. I really was interested in this because I wanted to see if it really worked for my skin tone, which it is. That mango shade was a little light, but it's supposed to be like a blending crease shade. So I'm gonna go back in with my fluffy brush and Mango, the crease light shade that I had. I'm going to blend out that Booked shade. Even though Mango doesn't show up on my eyes, it's really nice to have that shade to kind of blend out the harsh edges. Now I'm gonna take an even more defined crease brush. This is the Morphe M456, the darkest brown shade in the palette, Brownie, and I'm going to really just put that on the outer V and maybe a little bit into the crease, but definitely just trying to define the outer edge. I really want this side to be like a smoky glam type of date night look. That is like a really dark brown. There's even a black in the palette, so if you want to go darker than this, you can. But I really love when a palette has a dark brown because it just makes everything just so much smokier. Now for the lid, I think I want to take the shade Everything, this like red rose gold color. I know Patrick really hyped this color up, so I'm really excited to see how it looks on the eyes. So I'm going to take a flat brush. I'm going to take the Morphe 124 and take that middle Everything shade, and I will be spraying my brush just because that's what I always do. So I just took a Morphe Continuous Setting Mist and I'm going to put that all over the lid. Oh, that's shimmery and gorgeous right there. It does feel a little chunky. Even when I swatched it, it was a little bit chunky, but it's still really pretty. I'm going to blend out the lid to the outer corner, so I'm going to take that brownie shade, run it between the shimmer and the outer V just to blend it a little bit better. I also think I want to wing this out a little bit. I've never really tried that, but let's try it today. It is a little patchy, but that's probably because I didn't wing it out earlier, so it's probably my fault. I'm wanting to blend that wing a little bit more, so I'm going to go back into Mango and just kind of blend out the harsh edges, because you know, even though it's a wing, I don't want too much of a harsh edge there. So since this is going to be more of my soft glam look, I'm wanting to spice it up a little bit and take the Blue Mondew shade, this blue shade right here, and run it along the lower lash line. This is a really vibrant blue, so I'm excited to see how vibrant it is, and it's definitely vibrant. No disappointment there. I want to smudge that out more, so I'm going to go back into that Blue Mondew shade, the blue shade, and a smudger brush. This is the M503. Smudge out that blue shade a little bit more. I'm trying to look for like a shimmery, light, like champagne-y color. The lightest shimmer shade I have is either Title Holder or Rebel Gray, depending on which one you go to. Title Holder is kind of more of a darker gold shade. For the inner corner color, I think the best one will be Rebel Gray. So I guess it's a downside to the palette is that there's no like inner corner highlight shade. So I'm gonna go into Rebel Gray and put that in the inner corner. I'm going to take my Morphe M52. That's an interesting pop of color. I don't know if I like it or not. Definitely not what I would have chosen. Because I do have the blue on the lower lash line, it kind of works for it. And then I'm going to highlight the brow bone. I'm going to take Manila Sands down here and highlight the brow bone. All right, I'm going to put on some mascara and we'll come back with the final eye look. So this is the final eye look for this side. It is very soft glam neutral eye look. Definitely getting a lot of like Anastasia Beverly Hills soft glam. I do really like it, and I think it's a really good like everyday eye look. And I mean, you don't have to put that blue on the lower lash lines. I think it's really pretty, but it is very much giving me Anastasia Beverly Hills soft glam. So let's go ahead and move on to the second eye look. I pretty much used the whole palette except for the greens and the black. So that is what I want to do for this eye. I think I'm going to do a halo eye with the greens and maybe smudge the black on the lower lash line, because I really want to see how pigmented this black is, because when I swatched it, it was really pigmented. I'm going to start off with Suede Charm right here. It's kind of like a greeny mustardy color shade, so I'm going to take that and run that along the crease. One thing to note about this palette is that I am getting a lot of kickback in the eyeshadows, but I've heard that's actually a good thing because it means that it is more pigmented if you have kickback. Sometimes if you have a lot of kickback, you also get a lot of fallout, but I'm not seeing any fallout at all. I definitely thought this Suede Charm was gonna be almost like Mango, where you can't see it on my skin, but it's actually really pigmented and a very pretty color. It gives just a hint of green, which is beautiful. I'm definitely into those like mustardy, pukey, yellowy shades, and I've always been in love with them, so I'm happy with that color. And I applied that Suede Charm with my fluffy brush, the M441, and I'm going to take my M433 and I'm going to take the shade Matcha. I love matcha green tea. I love matcha bubble tea. I love that he has that shade in there. So I'm going to take this shade and just put it on the outer corner and the inner part of the lid. I also really love the little stamps in here. They're so cute. So that is definitely a really beautiful green shade. It's not patchy at all, which usually I find some green shades can be patchy. Ooh, I really like that. I really like that. I think I want to deepen this up a little bit more. So I'm going to take my M456, a small crease brush, and I'm cleaning that off. And we're going to tap very lightly into Turban Legend, which is the black. Just very lightly tap it because I just want to define just the hairest little bit, little tiniest bit on the inner corner and the outer corner. But I don't want to be too dark, and when I swatched this was very pigmented, so I just want to go in with a very light hand. And of course, with any black, pigmented or not pigmented, you definitely want to build because blacks are very hard to blend out. So if you definitely put too much on, you're gonna have a hard time blending it out, or you're not gonna be able to blend it out at all. Adding little by little is definitely the best way to go about with black eyeshadow so that you can always add more and you just can't take away. You know, you could sit there and blend for hours, but that's a pain in the butt. I went in very like light-handed and I continuously added more, and I think that is where I want to leave it. I'm gonna go back in with my M433 and Matcha, the army green shade, and just kind of like blend out the black. I think I'm good with the crease colors. So now I'm gonna go in with the middle part of my lid, take my M124, clean it off, and I'm going to take all of it. I love that, all of it. It's the like shimmery green shade. Put that on my brush, and I will spray it just like the everything shade and put that in the middle of the lid. Oh, that is gorgeous. I definitely love like green colors, so I knew when I saw this palette that I had to make an eye look on just the greens. I would love to even put that matcha shade just all over the lid. I think that would be beautiful for like a smoky green eye, and then maybe this in the inner corner for a pop of color. I'm going to blend out that shimmer shade with my M433 and Matcha and just kind of blend that shimmer shade into the outer edges so that's not so harsh. Now I'm going to take my big fluffy brush, the M441, go back into the suede cream and just blend out the edges a little bit more. I want to diffuse it so that there's no harsh edges. Now I'm going to take like a little liner brush, this is the M410, and the Matcha shade, the green, army green shade, and run that along the lower lash line. I'm going to smudge that out with my M508, and I'm going to take the suede cream and smudge the lower lash line a little bit more. Highlighting the eyebrows with the M224 and Manila Sands. Now again, we have the problem of what am I gonna put on the inner corner. I think I'm just gonna take the Manila Sands shade and put that on the inner corner. So that's definitely one downfall, like I said before, to this palette, is that there's no light shimmer shade for the inner corner highlight. It's okay, you can always take like your highlight that you have on your cheeks and just put it on there. So it's not the end of the world, but I just don't have a highlight with me. I'm going to put on some mascara and I'll come back with the final eye look. All right guys, so this is the final eye look. I really love it. It's just, it reminds me of like just a green olive, and it's beautiful. I love how smoky it is. I love the tones of the colors. It's really beautiful. Now to finish off with the lips, I do already have some ColourPop Just a Tint lip crayon in Nude Beach, but I'm going to go ahead and reapply that. So let's go ahead and zoom out and discuss our final thoughts. Alright guys, so here are the two eye looks. I do love both sides. I love that you can either go, you know, with the soft glam eye look on this side or a much more smoky grunge green eye on this side. Go ahead and talk about the palette. This palette retails for $42 and you can purchase it at Sephora.com, Sephora stores, or on the One Size website. I do truly love the message that Patrick Starrr is giving, that, you know, makeup is one size and that it can suit anyone and everyone. Price of the palette is on par with like Anastasia Beverly Hills. They pretty much have the same amount of shades. The Anastasia Beverly Hills usually has like 14 shades and this has 15. So I guess he is more on the high-end side, but not leaning luxury to like Natasha Denona. The back says a one size fits all 15-pan eyeshadow palette with 9 super pigmented mattes and 6 eye-catching shimmers that are opaque, creamy, and blendable. Patrick Starrr created this visionary palette of all day, everyday shadow essentials with neutrals, warm tones, pops of colors, and deepest black. This is vegan, made in the USA, and it has a shelf life of 12 months. Which is typically what an eyeshadow palette is, but you know, I don't really listen to that and I don't know who does. This palette is gorgeous. The packaging is gorgeous. This pink outer packaging is just so beautiful. And of course, in his little reveal, he said that this little slash on everything he has. As you can see, this bottom part is slanted and so is the cover. It is slanted like this. He said he did that so that people with long nails can open a palette without, you know, digging their fingernail in it. So I will put up a video and show you how it is slanted so that you have a little opening right here to put your finger on and just like grab it and open it. Now let's go ahead and talk about the shades. These shades are a neutral palette. And I know a lot of people were talking about how they're tired of getting a neutral palette with a pop of green or a pop of blue. And of course that's what this palette is. But this is Patrick Starr's first palette, so he's not gonna come out with a rainbow palette as his first palette. Anyone and everyone can wear these colors, and of course anyone and everyone can wear a rainbow palette, but majority of people want to wear browns and this neutral color and these pinks and the bronze. So I think it is fair that he wanted to come out with a more neutral or a more soft glam palette as his first palette, and I'm sure as more palettes come in from his brand, he will produce more colorful eyeshadow palettes. I do love the shades in this palette. As you'll see in the swatches, some of the mattes are chalky, but that's just in the swatches. They blend out perfectly on the eyes. Some of the shades like Mango and Taupe of My Game didn't really show up on my arm. That's okay because that can be transition shades for lighter skin tones, and I'm glad that he even put like a little bit darker of a brown and then like a warmer brown and a neutral dark brown and then even a black, so you could mix the black into any of these shades and make it a little bit darker. That really fits his one size fits all makeup message that he wants to put out. And I also love that, you know, he has the right amount of shimmers. I definitely prefer more mattes than shimmers, and that's what he gives. He gives 9 matte eyeshadows, 5 shimmers, and 1 matte with a shimmer, and that's this Blue Mondew. So I really love the variability in this palette. I mean, of course, you're not going to get amazing crazy eye looks and see such difference between them. I mean, there is a difference between the 2 eye looks I have on right now, but it's not like you're going to create 7 different colorful eyeshadows. But I do love that there is still variability in this, and I love the amount of transition shades he has and outer corner shades he has, and I love the green, grungy, smoky greens that he has in this palette. I truly do love this palette, and I think the formula is great. The mattes blended out beautifully. The shimmers were pigmented. You know, I didn't try them with a dry brush, but with a wet brush, they were beautiful. I would definitely wear this to a night out, which I'm not doing because of COVID. I do think this is a great everyday palette if you are in the market for one. I truly do love what he created, and I love his message, and of course I wanted to support him because he is also a fellow Filipino. I think this is a great first palette from one size, and I can't wait to see what more palettes he has in store. Alright guys, so that is my review and 2 eye looks on the one size Patrick Starrr Visionary eyeshadow palette. Let me know if you like this where I do 2 different eye looks on each eye, or if you prefer more of just one eye look. Let me know if you guys are interested in this palette as well and what your thoughts on it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!